up YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be one that I've been wanting to do for so long because it's about something that I've wanted to do for so long, and that is getting my eyebrows microbladed. Ooh. So when I first heard about microblading like maybe a year or two ago, I wanted to get it done so bad, but I was like kind of hesitant, and you know, even though microblading isn't permanent, it's gonna be on your face for anywhere between 1 to 3 years, so I was like really skeptical. But all of that changed when a couple of months ago I found Aloria Salon on Instagram. I forget how I found her, but she had a huge following and tons and tons and tons of videos of this woman named Yvonne doing microblading at different people. And so literally like 3 or 4 times a day she'd be posting either on her Instagram story or on her Instagram page the microblading that she was doing for clients, and it looked so good. Like, I want you to pause this video and go to her Instagram page and see what I'm talking about. Just photo after photo after video of like flawless fleeky eyebrows. So when I saw her I was like, that's gonna be my girl. Last month I finally took the leap and set up an appointment with Yvonne, and that appointment was yesterday at Aloria Salon. Hello YouTube, here's one of the only times, really it's gonna be one of the last times you ever see me with my natural eyebrows. Boo! Because today we are here with my BFF Debbie. We're here to get my eyebrows microbladed. If you don't know what microblading is, it's basically, I'm gonna freak you out, it's eyebrow tattoos, but not really. It's like semi-permanent eyebrow tattoos, but I don't know how to describe it to you in a way that doesn't sound terrible, because eyebrow tattoo sounds like a terrible idea, but just bear with me. This is gonna be good. So once I got to the salon, Yvonne went and told me about herself and also like her experience and stuff like that. She's been doing eyebrows either by tattoo or microblading or something for like over 9 years. She's gone through like schooling after practice of perfecting the craft of microblading eyebrows. She technically has been doing eyebrow procedures longer than anybody else in the state of Michigan. And according to her, she's done over 50,000 freaking eyebrow things. 50,000. So automatically when she told me that, I was like, I picked the right lady. But also what was important, which I didn't necessarily think of up front, which I don't know why I didn't think of all of this up front, but her salon is not just like a normal beauty salon. They're actually a med spa, which means that they work under the license of a doctor. So once I filled out the paperwork, she actually applied like a topical numbing agent to my eyebrows. I'm getting my eyebrows numbed right now. This is going to be a new experience for me. I've never had my eyebrows numbed whatsoever,
So this is 5% lidocaine, topical. It's awesome. It's fast working, but we gotta do it at least for 20 minutes.
So once that had kicked in, I laid down on the bed that they had, and she started drawing out the shape of my eyebrows, which was really cool that she did that, because she actually was taking like rulers and measurements and making sure that my eyebrows lined up with the way they're supposed to sit on my face based on where my eyes are, my nose is, where the lowest hair on my eyebrow starts to the highest hair on my eyebrow ends. She did all these measurements and she was super particular about it, which I was like, girl, it's fine, it ain't that deep. And she's like, no, I'm a perfectionist, I have to make sure they're perfect, which I appreciate it, especially since my brows are like 2 different heights, literally. So once we had gotten down a shape that I liked, she just went for it. Now the microblading process, how they do it is they take a little tiny super skinny blade, they dip it into some pigment, which is actually, by the way, a 100% vegan pigment, which is great. There's no metals in it, nothing that can harm your body, and part of the reason why microblading doesn't last forever and only lasts 1 to 3 years is because the pigment is made out of substances that your body recognizes and can metabolize. So as your body metabolizes over the 1 to 3 years, it recognizes that pigment and passes it through your system, which is why the ink doesn't stay. Little known fact. But anyway, so they take that little super skinny blade, they dip it into the ink, as far as I know. I didn't watch the process per se, and she just makes all these little teeny shallow cuts on your eyebrows. Now the cuts are not super deep, they only go through the top 3 layers of your skin, so they're not as deep as a tattoo. They're not really enough to draw a ton of blood. It's just these superficial cuts that is deep enough to make the pigment stay for quite a while, but like I said, it's not permanent and it's not like a deep wound. And this is also something that is so good to make sure you're working with someone who knows what they're doing and has a lot of experience, because making sure that you're only going through those top 3 layers of skin as opposed to being heavy-handed or going too far, not going deep enough, that's something that just comes with experience, I imagine. And so knowing that she had done this procedure so many times before, I felt so at ease knowing that she knew what she was doing. So everyone wants to know, does this procedure hurt? For me, most of it did not hurt very much. I want to say that the majority of it felt kind of just like a cat scratch without really a ton of pain. When she put the numbing stuff on my eyebrows, it didn't stop me from feeling anything at all. It just stopped me from being so sensitive to pain. But the numbing stuff would only last like, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes at a time. And so when it got towards the end of those 20 to 30 minutes, it would start to hurt a little bit, but she could tell by like my facial expressions when I was starting to hurt, and she would just reapply the numbing stuff, leave me for a couple of minutes for it to like set, and then she would start again. So for the most part, it was not really a painful procedure, but she did say that how everybody responds to pain is just totally different. For some people, they don't feel anything at all, and other people, they say it's just kind of painful. I will say it did start to get painful at the end, probably the last 5 to 10 minutes of the whole procedure, which by the way took about 3 hours. And it only started to hurt because this eyebrow got so like tender and inflamed. This one was fine, this is the one she started with, and then when she got to this one was just not happy. So this one started to hurt towards the end just because it felt like my eyebrow was bruised. Like to the touch, it felt like it was bruised. So it wasn't even the cuts that were hurting, it was her wiping the ink off that actually was hurting so bad just because it was tender like a bruise. But the cuts still were not really hurting because the numbing stuff was still there, if that makes sense. As far as I know, I can't imagine that this would ever be like excruciating for somebody. So once I was finally done with the 3 hours of microblading and I saw my eyebrows, I was so happy. All right, so here we are after the procedure is done. It sounds so technical calling it a procedure. That's what it is though. But here are my eyebrows. Do you guys see? I have eyebrows. They're the same size and the same shape, which is very rare for what you guys usually see on my face. But at first glance and first just like kind of looking at myself, I love them. They look so good. The whole procedure was not like anywhere near as bad as I thought it could potentially be, and I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, my first impression is that I really like them, so yay! I could tell that they were a little bit bigger and a little bit darker than I wanted, but she actually does that because when they heal, they shrink down, I think by about 30%, and the color lightens significantly. So when this lightens, it's not gonna be this dark. It's gonna be like a dark blonde, which really suits my face, my hair color and stuff like that. I could tell right when I saw them that I was in love with them. The arch is perfect. Everything looks so just equal and nice, and it's gonna save me like literally like 15 to 20 minutes of time in the morning that it takes me to draw on a shape of an eyebrow, which it just always takes me so long because my eyebrows were literally like 2 different people on my face, like never doing the same thing. The healing process is going to take quite a bit of time. The main things I was told not to do for the next 2 weeks was to sweat excessively or to be in like direct sunlight, like so no tanning, no going out on a boat, no like being in a convertible, like basically if I'm outside to have something that's protecting my eyebrows from the sunlight because that can fade the pigment or cause it to not sit right or something, I'm not sure. There are a few other things that I'm not supposed to do, I can't recall them right now. Over the course of like the next 2-ish weeks, it's different for everybody. Some people are fine by 7 or 8 days, some people take a little bit longer, but my eyebrows will continue to darken as the pigment kind of like sets in and it's drying, and I don't really know all the medical stuff that is happening to my eyebrows, but I know that they're gonna get really dark and then they're even gonna scab up a little bit. How much you scab or don't scab is just depends on how well you take care of your brows and just your own biology. I was given like an aftercare ointment that I'm putting on every morning and every night just to kind of keep them moist so that they don't dry out and that the scabbing is not as bad, but still there's gonna be some scabbing and some of the pigment may kind of like come off, so that at the end of this 2-week process I may have like kind of patchy eyebrows, like where the pigment just didn't stay or where they scabbed up and the pigment fell off. But that is why I'm going back for a follow-up appointment in about 6 weeks. At that time she's gonna see what my eyebrows have totally healed into, and she's going to fix the little patches, the little blank spaces, anything that might be wrong with them. She's gonna fix it at that point so that after that second appointment and it heals a little bit again, I will have perfect eyebrows, no more touch-ups, everything will be done. So I've got a little bit of a journey ahead of me before I finally have like super nice eyebrows, but this was still so worth it to me. I'm just calling that now because as superficial as it may seem, when a woman has something wrong with her face, I just feel like that's one of the hardest things to work with. And if you're a person who doesn't have eyebrows or doesn't have eyelashes or has a nose that you don't like or has cystic acne or something about your face that just makes you not feel attractive, that's one of the hardest things to deal with. I feel like I'd rather have something wrong with my body or anything else other than my face, because your face is just, it's what you see in the morning. It's how you identify yourself with you. And I don't know, maybe that sounds superficial to people, but I feel like if you're a girl, you kind of know what I mean, that you just want to wake up and have like a face that makes sense to you, that isn't missing something or has something that shouldn't be there in your opinion. And for me, that was my eyebrows. For me, waking up and like washing my face and just having no eyebrows, or eyebrows that like were way too sparse for the rest of my face, just felt so like, I don't know, I was insecure about it. And I know you're supposed to accept yourself for the way you are, whatever, but I'm sorry, I'm never gonna think that super sparse, skinny brows on my face looks good, you know? So doing this for myself was such an amazing thing for my confidence, just being able to look in the mirror and feel like who I feel like I want to look like, you know? Overall, this was such an amazing experience. I really enjoyed every part of the process, and Yvonne was so helpful and so reassuring and professional, and I just enjoyed my time with her so much, so I cannot recommend her enough. I'm leaving her information in the info box below, but I gotta tell ya, if you're looking to get microbladed, she's booked pretty far into the future because she's so good. So if you're interested in getting this done anytime in the next year, I would call and book like today, because she's a busy lady. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this was informative or helpful or interesting to you in some way, and I will see you guys in the next one.